Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm making a video because I'm considering what it really takes for people to be good business owners, but I'm also thinking that the word business owners is kind of going away. I think we're in a point in time when you don't necessarily need to be a business owner, but I think more people are going to start being independent contractors, or do some type of entrepreneurial services for companies, more so than companies are going to be hiring employees. And I'm going to use the word business owner and entrepreneurship a lot, but I do think that this topic is expanding because of the way that our society is currently working out right now. I do think that people are going to be able to get a lot more done quicker. I think that there's a lot of different types of jobs that are going to be opening up and skill sets that people are going to be able to incorporate into their businesses that are going to create new types of businesses in general. It's not always going to be the same things that we've been seeing for the past probably 50, 60 years. Because I think we're in a point where technology is going to start spiking way past anything we've seen yet. And people are really going to have to start adapting to that technology. I also think because of the COVID, there's going to be a lot of businesses that don't want to take the risk with hiring employees as like a W-2 employee. They would rather hire independent contractors and entrepreneurs, or people who can work outside of the company. And what I want to do is kind of give some people some ideas of things that they can be doing right now to stay ahead of the curve. Because, once this really does get implemented, and once we realize that some people aren't going back to a desk at work, whoever does take the time to get ahead of this is going to be doing the same thing that entrepreneurs were doing previously, and they're going to stay ahead. Because what entrepreneurs were doing previously was seeing how things are going to happen and creating for those things that could happen, and actually kind of influencing those things to happen because of the way that they changed it. I mean, even if you just think of the way that music is distributed now, whoever was the first one to realize that they could distribute music like that is still ahead of the game. Just look at Pandora. They're still pretty far ahead. iTunes, they're still pretty far ahead. And they actually even made a big disruption in the radio industry for a while. So the same thing's going to happen here. But the thing is, I really want to help people who realize this as well and who are going to be the ones getting ahead start taking those steps to getting ahead. Because the truth is, just like in the past when it was just entrepreneurs starting businesses and normal people were just taking jobs, normal people aren't going to be learning the new things that they have to be learning, and they're not going to be able to get nearly as far ahead as the people who are taking the time to learn the new things. And I just don't think most people in the world are that motivated. I don't think most people in the world are willing to take the risks that are necessary. And so this talk is a future-based talk, but it's really, I'm going to take the same ideas I would have talked to you maybe a year ago about business, because the same people who had goals and were following through things before the coronavirus pandemic are the same people who can start moving forward to this new way of life. It's what I'm doing. It's part of these videos is that I've realized that I can take to the next part of my entire goal, if that makes sense. So what I did is I wrote down a couple things that I see a lot of people do, have always done actually, who have tried to start businesses or tried to start something new, like a new venture that isn't common. I like to use businesses more as something that you would expect, and then ventures more as like, you can go into it with a risk. But no matter what, if you're starting something new, there's 5 things that pretty much you can be doing, and if you aren't, then it's no surprise when you fail, and if you are, then you probably aren't going to fail. The first thing that no matter whether it's a business venture or just opening something that you know how to do, you have to have a skill. You want to go start a new venture without having any idea of why you're starting that or what you could provide to that industry. Do you know what I mean? So you need a skill. No matter what the skill is, that's where you're going to start your business. And it could be a small skill. It could be a big skill. It could be like something that took a while to actually become an expert in, or it could be something smaller that you're willing to take the time while developing your business to perfect. The skill, I don't want people to get too caught up on the skill. I want people to realize what their skills are and start there. Because one thing when I was running my business is like, I think I gained a new skill almost every day. I'd be surprised if I could tell you I didn't. So you just need one to start with. And it could be, think about it. If you can mow a lawn, there's your skill, you start with that. Then you just build on top of that. So that's pretty easy. I just want to make clear, like, if you don't have a skill, you're probably not starting a business. As a matter of fact, when I was 18, I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I feel like I don't really have any skills. I wrestled through high school and I played football, so I didn't necessarily learn some of the trade stuff that I was doing. I did do like snow plowing and I mowed lawns, but I didn't have any construction skills like I ended up developing through my 20s. And I ended up going to trade school at that time. I got a job in automotive, and I actually met landscapers, which was kind of how I got motivated to open a landscaping company when I was 20. So that's why I think it's so important to just get some skill that's going to start sending you into the right direction, and you don't have to necessarily only utilize that skill in the future. It's a big thing of what I do is work in angles, so if you can understand what that means, then that should make a lot of sense for you. The second thing that you have to do as a business owner, and this is where I think people screw up. Almost everybody who screws up a business screws it up this way, is you have to do for the sake of doing. Because when you first start a business, you're not going to have a bunch of customers calling you and asking for you to do work for them, or create a website if you're coding, or build them a deck or patio or whatever it is, or fix their car. If you don't put work out for them to realize that that's what you're doing, not only work out, but good work. It has to be good work. You want, just because you're doing something just for the sake of doing it doesn't mean you half-ass it. That's one simple way to put it. And usually when you first start, this is going to go right with building the skill too, because you're going to be able to better your skill by just doing the work for the sake of doing it. I worked in a garage after I went to school for automotive, and when I would come home, I would go out and do landscaping in the backyard just to learn what looks right, what goes where, and then I ended up going to school just for the sake of learning about landscaping. And I think that's why I had a pretty successful business, because the truth is I don't see many other people do that. They want to stick to the routines that they know without increasing the quality of the service that they're providing to customers, and understanding more efficient or effective ways of getting things done, which when you do for the sake of doing, that's what's going to happen. Is you're going to, because there's no stress there, and it means you actually enjoy what you're doing. So if a mistake happens, it's a simple correction, which is why I'm going to tell you, like, if you're any age, I don't know, and you don't have a lot going on right now, when you get out of work and you're not doing something for the sake of doing it that is productive, then you're probably not going to make it as a business owner, pretty much, like, I'll tell you, even when I was running a business, if I went to a buddy's house and they wanted something, like a little fire pit or something, I'd just start building it for the sake of building it. Why not? Like, it's part of what I want to offer to people. I know at certain times, like, no one's going to hire me if I don't show that I can do certain things. So I'm just going to do it, and it's fun, and it comes out really good, and someone's happy at the end of it. But people don't do that. I think, honestly, especially if you're like under 25 and you get out of work earlier, or you have your weekends off and you're not doing something productive, then honestly, you're probably not a business person. I just got to tell you. So yeah, when I see someone doing for the sake of doing, trying new things for trying new things, just to get the experience, that's when I know I've met someone who probably could be a business owner. And one thing you got to watch out for is a lot of people are going to BS. They're going to, oh yeah, I like to do that, or I want to just do that. And then, that's not true. They just wanted to make themselves look good. So it happens. All right. The third thing, I actually grouped these together, and it goes kind of along with the last one. It's discipline, initiative, and perseverance. And the reason is that when you're running a business, you're going to have to change a lot of the things that you were doing before. And the sooner that you start changing those things, the sooner you're going to see benefits happening. And one discipline I think is huge is that, like, say you're in a service business and you're not busy, like it's not a busy time of year. Part of taking initiative is like fixing your own equipment and doing the paperwork part of things, or the things that you don't necessarily have the time to do when you are busy. And if you don't wake up every single day and do those things, you're really not taking initiative, and you're showing that you're not disciplined, especially when you, like, say you miss one of those days. Like you know that you have 2 free days of the week, and one of those days you just didn't even get out of bed, or you chose to go hang out with some friends who are doing nothing, maybe like just hanging out, wasting their days away, instead of fixing the equipment that you needed fixed, or trying to figure out the problem that you were having all week on a certain code or something like that. There's things that you have to do when you're more free. And if you don't take that initiative and discipline yourself like that, then truthfully, when it comes time to persevere, you're not going to be able to do it because you gave up when things weren't that hard. And it's kind of what I see people do. I think, like, I saw it through construction, I've seen it in healthcare, I see it with a lot of people that I currently work with, and I try to let them know it's like, it is your mindset to, like, create that thing in the outside world, or create that business. And if you're not going after it and chasing after it like every single day, you're not, I don't see anything that says like, oh, you're going to persevere when the time really comes. Like, sorry, it's just not. So yeah, these were those three that I've given you right now, like those past three. Those were like the first three that came to my head and really important. And then I started thinking even a little bit deeper, and I came up with 4 and 5. So number 4 is just like, and I know everybody kind of gets it, but like, stop caring about other people's opinions. And this is good or bad, because the truth is, people don't put things out to the world because they don't have anyone to show it to, or when they did show the last thing they did, no one really cared. But eventually, like, that could take off. It could be because of the way that you're presenting it, like, or you learn to present it, that it takes off. It could be a small section of a bigger niche that is just waiting to take off. And I just feel like people, like, if you can't do it for yourself, if you need to do it to show off to other people and things like that, that's kind of just showing that the business isn't for you. And if you're going to do things just for other people, go get a job. Like, really. Like, my businesses are for me and now my family. But growing up, when I started my businesses, they were for me, for my happiness, not for my friends' happiness. If they wanted to help me work, I'm happy that they're happy when they're making money. But my business was for me. If they don't like it, oh well, I'm still doing my thing. And just because you want to go out or your friends want to go out, that doesn't mean that's what I'm going to do. And if you aren't doing it for you, then yeah, you're going to be the person who gets influenced to go out when you know you have a job the next day. All right, so that's one thing. And then the fifth thing, and this is really important, actually, especially if you're going to start a company, you need to be willing to do this, is the ability to plan and change your plans. You need to understand when things aren't going the way that you need them to go, and be able to take a step back and figure out, usually it's a slight adjustment, what that slight adjustment is to make a change. So I don't know if many people really get how many changes can actually happen when you start a company, but pretty much you have to go into starting a company with anything that you have to make a plan, but anything that you did plan is probably not going to go exactly how you planned. And you also have to be willing to change as you are in the company, because you're going to realize more things as you're running a company than you would have when you weren't and just doing the skill that you had. You may realize that you have more expertise in a different area of that company, or that the direction you originally thought you were going to bring that whole company isn't that direction. There's little things like that. And I think what happens here is when this happens, a lot of people don't make changes because a lot of times those changes have to go kind of public. I'm not offering this anymore because I'm going to offer this. And that can almost seem like you're quitting, but it's not. It's what good entrepreneurs and business leaders do, is they realize when something's not working and there's a better approach. And it goes right back to not caring what other people think, because someone might judge you, like, how are you doing this last week or last month, and now you want to change to this. And yeah, I think it's obviously a better direction for the company, and it utilizes a lot more of the skills that you actually have. And if you are willing to make those changes, it may seem like you're going backwards, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going backwards. It means you found a better angle to work at. So pretty much, I want you to take these things, if you are thinking about starting a business, and start thinking about which one of these you're not incorporating into your own life, because I guarantee you, if you're having a hard time starting your own company, it's because you aren't doing one of these things. And if you have anything specific about one of these topics, because there are ways to expand these past just the surface of what you see or heard, let me know, because maybe we can try to come up with a plan that will help you start moving forward into your own ideas and businesses that you want to develop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.